This is IBM Museum, and I'm trying to get out some things before my live stream tomorrow morning. One just happens to be I've had this thing actually still packaged up for a number of weeks. And I'll finally open it, and it has a little bit of relation to a live stream sort of concept, but I'll get turned around to open that up, and I can go through and also talk about the scheduling of that live stream I'm going to have tomorrow morning, my regular scheduled time that I do uh, live stream on YouTube here. So, and that is probably a real good view. Um, in fact, we can get myself out of the way, and this is probably a little bit better for going closer in, and it's a little bit ironic as well that the camera in this case is actually a an Anker webcam, and I've got a separate post and everything else. I can move that around, and I need to utilize a little bit more. And this thing actually, there's a piece of plastic missing on the corner, and I was pretty sure that it was complete when I got it in. So, just in handling and moving this thing around in the last few weeks is what pulled that off. And I'll probably go through and remove the cellophane first, um, before going through and doing anything like holding it up to the webcam. And for this, I just don't have the video feedback to kind of see what's on the screen. And so I suppose I could go through, now that we've kind of done a little bit, I guess, of the close up for that. Let me do, yeah, that, and it bobs around on that post a little bit too much. So let's go through and do it with this view. I've got my ring light off and everything else just so the light reflection and all that. And I'll pull up the page on this, and I'm not necessarily doing a sponsorship or anything else. I did hear about this through another YouTube channel, Crosstalk Solutions, and I thought it'd be, I mean, it necessarily had people commenting that they weren't impressed with the features of the price or anything like that. But I thought it was kind of an interesting thing to consider, and I'm glad I didn't cut so deep with my knife that there's a tab to lift that, and so there's the Anker Your Way, and otherwise just a gray box. It's got a little bit of identification at the bottom there, made in China. And now that the shrink wrap's off, the box should do a little bit better. The kind of a more of a matte finish than a glossy. But there's a view of it, and you can see this thing online. I'll go through. There's your, talks about some of the features. And I know that there's a little bit of dispute in them calling it a 2K camera. And I'll have to go through and get the software. Here's the what's included in the box. And I don't know if I necessarily, like I say, I'm not really giving a sponsorship of this in any way, but let me go through. Even then, let's pull up the browser page for this. I can get back on screen for a little bit here. Let's go through and be able to interact I can scroll through just to show, and I'll provide a link to where this is. And it's mostly not the thought of live stream. It's for the thought of like video. Excuse me, of video conferencing. And showing the, and there people can look through whatever they want. It's funny how they do a little bit of that graphical representation of noise. And so let's hide that. Hide me again. And we're going to go through. We lift the tab, and it's a larger assembly than what I thought. I guess it would have to be with the light and everything else. We're talking about probably a 6 times enlargement of the Anker webcam that I have here. Like I say, I've got this on a post. Well, I can quickly kind of adjust that in a weighted base. I've come up with brass rods. I actually need to go through and pull the stickers off. They're interesting brass rods. I probably even need to go through and solder some lengths together. I can form up pieces that I can put in place. But that's just what I came up with for an easy to move around camera, and it does pretty good despite the, if it's bumped, it does happen to move a little bit. There's a little bit of view of the back. USB, Type-C, power, and it does have the kind of a shield around the, I guess you can go through and make a stand or clip this on the monitor. It goes through and pivots. I don't know how much that was demonstrated before. It's got padding so it doesn't, mark up the back of your monitor, whatever you're happening to clip over the top. And I'd have to figure out that there's probably just a standard post mount like a camera. And of course, I've been showing the back. This is the front where it goes through, and it's supposed to have that light, and even gives you a little slider. And I'd have to even look over that video. I mean, I was aware that it was not reviewed very well for or kind of deadpan for the thought of putting fingerprints and stuff like that on when you made adjustments for that. But that's the and it's got kind of a cloth that looks plastic on screen, or even from a little bit of a distance, but that is like a cloth padding, so it's fairly stylish for all that. And I'll go to the point of actually using this at some point. You really won't see it on camera because I'll go through and be using it for. It's got controls on the sides. So there's that. And then they have, looks like, other bases. I've got to go through and, of course, I'll have to download the software, whatever system I use. Oh, that's like a power plug. That's for the adapter. There should be I think there'd be a US version in there somewhere. So they include the plastic for the ground plug, but they include international plugs. They've got the pronged electrical, and here the US plug, an adapter, and it gives, to a USB type C for power. And then it has a cable, USB-C to USB-C. So I've got adapters, of course, to go to up to a type A USB, like, USB 3.0. I don't know if there's necessarily any adapter. It doesn't look like it for anything. They have this molded plastic. I don't know if anything is necessarily below this platform. No, empty. So kind of like a cigar box size for people that remember cigar boxes. And there's your standard stuff. There's probably warnings in all sorts of different languages. Information, not necessarily just a PDF online that you look up, but you can actually go through. And then Anker always includes these cards of whether you're satisfied or not. And I've got a lot of Anker stuff. I mean, I've bought over the years just for, I think that it's for a lot of the products, the aspect of their products, they make some pretty good stuff. And so that is that. So you get to see that in action, probably not as soon as tomorrow, but that is the Anker B600 video bar. And as I say, that's not going to be as soon as tomorrow. My live streams I do on Saturday mornings for me, 10 a.m., and that's GMT -7, which calculates out to being noon Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And of course, I say Standard Time, we all do this daylight saving thing, and whether they're going to get rid of it or not. If you're outside the continental United States, you can calculate the GMT -7 to figure out when the stream happens, but I do have it marked and scheduled. I try and do that as much in advance as possible. On my channel, you just click on the reminder and you get notified when I happen to go live. So that's a good way to resolve what time that could be as well. And tomorrow I'm thinking I still have to do a lot of preparation, still have some videos I'm trying to get out of the way, but I want to try getting into the ROM, the DOS in ROM on an EduQuest system. That's the all-in-one that IBM made for the educational market. And I've got some Model 40s, and that's spelled out 40, that have that DOS and ROM. And I have to do some real-time clock work, the Dallas module as well. And see, once I modify that, I'll have to see what modules I got around that maybe already modified, or I can do it quick enough to pull out the solder stuff right on live stream and we'll do it. And see if we can, if the system has some option for accessing that DOS in ROM. So look forward to seeing you there. But if you thought that this video was informative, I'm glad I finally got this thing out after a few weeks. Just been shrink wrapped up without me getting to it. But I've got it out, and hopefully can go through and get a use case and have it be functional for all the features it integrates into one. And that's just the primary thing that people say, well, you could have separate, components that go together and work together, but this is kind of an all-in-one, and it's marketed with the thought of being a conferencing webcam plus the light, the speakers, the microphones, all in that universal package. So I'll see what I can do to go through and use that in the future. So if you enjoyed the video, click on the like button, and by all means, go through and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. Recommend to your friends that might be interested in this sort of content as well. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.